theatricality and deception. Powerful agents to the uninitiated, but we are initiated.
I'm super excited!
Good evening. Welcome to Washington. I'm Brett Baer. Breaking tonight, new allegations that the FBI overstepped its authority in conducting investigations against American citizens. And not just a few times. We're talking in the hundreds of thousands of times. Correspondent David Spahn is at the Justice Department tonight with the breaking details. Good evening, David.
Brett, good evening. This story is quite something. This court document released just a few hours ago found that the FBI misused a popular digital surveillance tool on everyday Americans more than 278,000 times in 2020 going into 2021. We're specifically talking about Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, also known as FISA. It gives the FBI and other agencies the ability to digitally surveil without a court order or a warrant. We now know the FBI used the tool on people connected to the civil unrest following the death of George Floyd on the streets of the United States, those involved in the January 6th Capitol attack, even political donors. According to the court, a redacted name or names, quote, conducted a batch query for over 19,000 donors to a congressional campaign. The analyst who ran the query advised that the campaign was a target of foreign influence, but the National Security Division determined that only 8 identifiers used in the query had sufficient ties to foreign influence activities to comply with the querying standard. The judge wrote that the problems were persistent and widespread, and, quote, it may become necessary to consider other responses, such as substantially limiting the number of FBI personnel with access to unminimized Section 702 information. Federal intelligence officials are pushing hard and begging Congress practically to fully re-up Section 702, all in the name of safety. It expires December 31st of this year.
It is critical that Congress fully renew Section 702 of the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, which provides fast, reliable, and specific insights that enhance our understanding of the threats posed by our adversaries.
We're seeing some bipartisan action on Capitol Hill. Republicans and Democrats not happy. Congressman Jerry Nadler said today the FBI has promised changes before, quote, without significant changes to the law to prevent this abuse, I will oppose the reauthorization of this authority. Now, government data, and I'm reading it now, shows the FBI conducted approximately 204,000 queries, a 94% drop from 2021 going into 2022, citing that they've made some changes. In a statement we just got from the FBI, they quote the director, Christopher Wray, saying this is, quote, completely unacceptable. But, Brett, no doubt this caps off a difficult week for the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which began criticism from the Durham report on Monday, and of course those FBI whistleblowers yesterday. Now we have this story today about the surveillance program. Brett,
Tough week for the FBI. David Spahn at the Justice.
Thank you, sir. Many locations across the city, because nobody seems to give a damn what you're all working in. How are you, sir? So the smell in the 3rd District is not very pleasant. So, one final pit stop today. There, guy zipping up his pants. I mean, the dirt, the grime. It is literally an encampment out front. This is just so ridiculous.
Just come out and tell me your name again.
David Smith.
David, you were locked up inside the science lab for hours with about 40 other students. Tell me what you guys did to pass the time. I mean, I know it was a scary time for everybody.
We just talked and told jokes and just messed around.
Were there teachers in there with you?
Not in our room, but right next door. They opened up the middle doors with 3 teachers and 1 shot laying on the ground in there.
Oh, that must be horrifying to see.
I didn't see it, though.
Tell me this. You saw one of the gunmen. Tell me what you saw and what he was doing at the time.
Well, first we just heard a bunch of kids running up the stairs because they let off a pipe bomb, and then a kid ran in front of our door, and we were all trying to get out the door because the fire alarm went off, and he shot a teacher right there, and the teacher went back in the room, and the guy went off around, and everybody locked their doors, and the teacher was laying there, and we just gave him our shirts to keep the blood from top. And
you were in there for how many hours?
3.5 hours. We were in the room.
You were in the science lab with 40 other kids. Did everybody get out, and describe to me how you got out?
We're all sitting on the ground, then they told us to lay down because the SWAT team was there. All of a sudden the door swung open, and about a minute later a SWAT guy came in and told us all to lay down. Then we all put our hands on our head and walked out. They escorted us out. Went in a cop car, went to the Clement, and then we all came here.
Mm-hmm. And at this point, are all your friends okay?
Yeah, that I know of, yeah.
Okay. Terrifying moments. Were you thinking anything special? Did you...
Like calling mom, maybe?
I wasn't really thinking nothing until like whenever we first heard it and we all got down on the ground. And then once the bomb stopped, we just laughed and told jokes. We knew we were going to be all right.
You did. Did you know where the gunman was at that time?
There's 4 of them just running around the school. We didn't know where they're at.
All right. Let's talk to Mom and Dad here. If you guys could come in close. And David, don't go anywhere. I know they're not going to let go in now a long time. You have been here for hours waiting to be hooked up with your son. A terrifying thought for a parent to have to go through this.
Well, you know, the one benefit was there was nobody killed, so we knew by and large he was okay.
Yeah, there was.
Oh, well,
when we walked out, we saw 3 dead bodies.
Well, then he knows more than I do at this point. I've been here. I haven't been home watching the news, so now that I hear that, it was a very trying time.
It was very frustrating.
Not knowing, not hearing, not seeing all his friends come out, kid after kid after kid, and then where's David? Nobody knows, and it was very scary. I mean,
list after list, no name on there. Our son's name wasn't there. It was just so trying. All we could do was cry and pray. I think is all we could do.
Yep.
How many kids go to Columbine High? Do you know, David?
I'm not exactly sure.
I think it's around 2,000.
2,000.
Yeah.
It's a big school.
Yeah,
Very big
it is
school.
a huge school. And I knew something was really bad. I work right up the street, and I seen the first action. I seen them block off the road. As soon as I seen them block off the road, I knew something was really bad. My first thought was a chemical spill. So I went down and tried to pass through the police lines. Of course, they wouldn't let anybody because they were still snipering. And so at that point, at like 11:35, my heart just went to my stomach, not knowing where my son was. All of his friends were okay. We seen them. No, David wasn't anywhere.
32 seconds left in this IFL Indoor Football League game, and oh my God, the onside kick, and that dude on the Massachusetts Pirates got absolutely clobbered. And now he's up and he's walking, and some little kid in the crowd is yelling, "Ha ha, you got hit. Ha ha, O'Neal, you got hit." So he runs into the crowd and he's going to get into this little kid's face. And the woman's like, "Hey, he's a kid. He's a kid. Fuck you." Then some other fans, they get real chirpy, real mad at him. Look at this guy screaming and yelling, the guy that's highlighted. And then he's going to get absolutely just picked up by a member of the team and thrown. And then the actual, scary part is look at the bottom left corner. It's a woman and 2 kids. And she's just trying to protect them because the entire melee is going to happen above their heads in this brawl. Watch. Number 77 just jumps up. He's right in front of them now. See the kids on the left there? And then he's pulling people onto him. Grown men fighting on top of your head. Really scary. This woman comes down and she goes, "What happened?"
Why is ABC News, owned by Disney, deceptively editing Donald Trump's January 6th speech last night to make it look like he incited a riot?
We're going to walk down to the Capitol and we fight. We fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol and we fight like hell. That's not what he said. They took a line from the beginning of the speech and a line from the end of the speech to make it look like Trump violently unleashed the crowd into the Capitol. What he said was march peacefully and patriotically. They didn't include that. They doctored it. That was Pierre Thomas who fronted that package. Look at him, ABC News chief correspondent. That wasn't a mistake he made. He's been in the business a while.
After this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity.
Atmosphere, the V sign for victory being displayed in East Jerusalem today among jubilant Palestinians that the United States had been subject to this attack. What are we to make of that, Jennifer? Yasser Arafat may issue this condemnation. Look at this. We're seeing people applauding, clapping, smiling, happy to know that thousands of Americans have died in this sneak attack, and there you see a V for victory sign held up to the camera. What are we to make of that, and what are we to make of what about what Yasser Arafat said today?
The United States blamed by some Palestinians for its ongoing support, as it is seen, of Israel in this conflict, in this Middle Eastern conflict. However, while some Palestinians were taking to the streets in apparent celebration, one youth was quoted as saying, as he received a sweets handed around in celebration, "This is a sweet from Osama bin Laden," he said.
Back to you. Pat Dawson, thanks very much. We have some videotape, I understand, that we're going to show you from the West Bank. These are Palestinian celebrations in the wake of Tuesday's terror attacks in the United States. Apparently, Palestinians took to the street chanting, "God is great." People were throwing candy, distributing candy to passersby. The U.S. government obviously has become increasingly unpopular, particularly in the West Bank and Gaza Strip, because Palestinians feel that the U.S. government has sided with Israel. One man, Nawal Abdel Fattah, wearing a long black dress, threw sweets in the air saying, actually that's a woman, pardon me, saying she was happy because, quote, "America is the head of the snake. America always stands by Israel in its war against us." Meanwhile, Yasser Arafat emerged to speak with reporters.